The hustle?
No, you have to do it with another person. And then you go, do the hustle. And then you do, it's kind of like a swing dance.
Welcome to Over the Years. My name is Tim, and I love vintage items. I hunt for treasures and bring you the ultimate prizes of antiques, collectibles, and vintage decor. Join me, my dukes, my girlfriend Josie, and other guests as we search for history.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of What Has Sold. I'm here with the legendary Ma Dukes.
Yep.
In the building. You're going to talk? Or
I will talk.
You can't whisper.
Hi, guys.
All right. So we made sales this weekend on 4 different platforms. So to spice things up a little bit for you guys, we decided that we were going to go take a little peek into 4 of Ma Dukes' China cabinets in between each segment of what sold. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started and show you guys what sold this week, Monday through Friday on Mercari. We had 2 sales on Mercari this week. The first thing was this Vintage Playmates Chicken Run plush. I believe the name of the plush was Fowler.
Could be.
This was from the box of McDonald's toys.
Effing McDonald's toys.
That was sitting in Ma Dukes.
That was a death pile.
Yeah, in Ma Dukes' garage for forever. So, years. So finally, that stuff's starting to move, which is good. The second thing that we sold, this sold within a couple of hours. This was a vintage perpetual flip calendar from Florida, like a Florida souvenir. Yeah. And this was in a box that you found
in the garage. Just things I'd had over the years.
So, yeah. So hence that's where the name came from.
Yeah, over the years.
So that is out the door, including shipping for $25. So that was a nice little sale. Mm-hmm. So now we're gonna go ahead and give you guys a peek into China cabinet number 1. All right, we're at cabinet number 1. So where did you get this cabinet?
My Uncle Jim Haynes used to have a furniture store in Elon, North Carolina, across from Elon College, which is now Elon University. And my cousin and I did everything alike, so we both got this particular cabinet, or this secretary. And I used to keep my Hummels in here, but I don't really collect Hummels. They were just some that my mom had. This has been my latest obsession, the copper lustreware. So I did keep, these are some books I got from my dad, the series of O. Henrys, and your Beatrix Potter. I used to collect squirrels and that kind of stuff. This is my Clarice Cliff, which I have yet to get a full set of. I love this stuff, but I think I only have like maybe 2 dinner plates. And these are remnants of well, not really. I still have a lot of paperweights, and this is what started it. This was my mom's. It's like really, really old. I don't even know how old it is. Probably like 100 years maybe. I just remember it as a child. So that got me started. These are a couple of Caithness paperweights. I used to belong to that club because I remember Tracy had asked, what did I collect in the 80s? Now that I think about it, I did. I was collecting these Caithness paperweights, and that was, part of what I collected.
And who gave you all of these?
You did. He found them at estate sales, flea markets. This one right here is the one that started it. Let me move this. The big one in the back. We got that at, no, it's not that one. My bad. It's over here. This one we got in Delaware, I think. Was it Delaware? Yeah, that big pink one in the back. That started it. I saw that and had to have it. I probably paid more for that than any of the others. But then we did pretty good by finding them at estate sales and flea markets. And
so all right. Favorite thing in the cabinet?
Uh-oh, that's hard. Favorite thing in the cabinet? I mean, besides this teapot? And my mom's hat pin collection. Probably that paperweight that was my mom's. I would say. And maybe the O. Henry books.
So now we are going to show you guys everything that sold this week on eBay. So first thing that sold on eBay this week was this Reebok Snapback Classic spell out navy blue hat. As I'm reading this, I could realize that I didn't even spell navy right. It just says nay.
Great. Nay hat.
So that is out the door for $17.99 plus shipping. The next thing that sold on eBay this week was this vintage Time magazine. If you remember, I had all these Time magazines from 1968 and 69.
Yeah.
And so I finally got those up listed, and this is the second one that sold. This was a Time magazine with our Robert Kennedy on the cover from June 14th, 1968.
Yeah, that one I hated to see. I love Robert Kennedy.
Yeah, so that one's out the door.
You see my old friend Bobby. Can you tell me where he's gone? You remember that old song by Dion, Abraham, Martin, and John? At the end, they do the thing. They put Bobby in there. Okay.
My Dukes knows so much about music. It's crazy.
Okay. That's an old song. Yeah.
So the next thing that sold was this Star Wars Hasbro Risk board game. It was still sealed, brand new from 2014. And that sold for $19.99 plus shipping. The next thing that sold, this was a big ticket item. This was my great uncle and my mom's uncle, Uncle Buck. These were his binoculars from World War II. They were vintage World War II Heinsolt Wetzler binoculars, and they sold for $300 plus shipping. And they went to a really good home. Somebody who is
that when you gotta, sometimes you have to let sentimental things go. But I'm glad that this went to a fellow who's a collector of World War II memorabilia.
Yeah, his father was actually in the Air Force too, so we've been messaging back and forth. So that was really good to know that they went to a good home. The next thing that sold on eBay was this wrestling headgear from Asics, and it sold for $17.99 plus shipping. Josie and I picked these up when we went thrifting for a whole weekend, and we got them at a Salvation Army for like $2, so not too bad. This is a really popular shirt. It got a ton of likes on all of the platforms that I had it listed on. It is a vintage single stitch t-shirt from our Acadia National Park. I can't remember where that is. It's either Michigan or Maine. I can't remember.
I want to say Maine, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it's Maine. But this was a really cool,
really pretty,
really cool design, and that sold for $22.49. Romeo, you have to stop barking.
Come here, boo.
Come on, bud.
Come here, buddy.
Come on.
Over here. Sit with me.
Come over here.
Sit with me.
Come on.
Come on. Sit down. Come here.
All right. So I'm just going to keep petting him so he doesn't bark. All right. The next thing that sold was a piece that we got from the auction. It was that big carnival glass lot, and I'll put a link up top for you guys if you haven't seen that video. It is a vintage Northwood Marigold Carnival Glass Star of David and Bose Ruffled Bowl. It was a pretty one.
That was a really nice one.
And that sold for $34.99 plus shipping. The next thing that sold on eBay was this vintage snapback hat. Navy Special Warfare SEAL Team, made in the USA. It had the patch on the front of the hat, and that sold for $21 plus shipping. The next thing that sold, this came out the same box as the perpetual calendar. This was the Tile Mate pack of 4 tiles wireless key finder. This was I kind of wanted to keep this, but then I was like, nah, we'll sell it. It sold in the first day that was listed. That sold for $20.99 plus shipping. The next thing to sell on eBay was this Fujifilm Quick Snap Flash 400 speed single use camera. It was a pack of 2, and that sold for $17.99 plus shipping. That's a good one. Those camera things always sell. I was glad to see this sold too. I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. This is a really cool vintage McGruff the Crime Dog Lee denim jean jacket. and that sold for $56.24 plus shipping. So that was a nice flip. And then this piece right here is super interesting because it was listed on my Etsy store for a while, and then I took it to the flea market. Everybody always picked it up at the flea market. Nobody ever pulled the trigger. Finally, I've decided to just also list it on eBay, and it sold within 24 hours. This was a antique Portu Valerie style. I can never know if I'm saying that right. It's a French glassmaker. And it was like a jadeite opaline green sort of color, and it was uranium glass. And there was a pinched basket. It was a really pretty piece.
Oh, yeah, that was very cute.
Yeah, I remember when I got that at an estate sale. They didn't really know what it was, and it was like $2, something like that. And I took a best offer on that, and it sold for $60 plus shipping. And back to the box of McDonald's toys. This has been like, I literally have these Furby toys from McDonald's, and there is 80 total toys, and it's 40 listings of 2. And this is the first one that's sold. I have them all listed for $9.99, but I'm obviously taking offers because we just want to get rid of them. And it's 100% profit. And the first pair sold for $4.99 plus shipping. And next up on eBay was this Radica big screen free cell electronic handheld game. I guess it's like a type of solitaire that you play. And that sold for $17.99 plus shipping. The next thing that sold, this sold within minutes of listing. So it's I kind of think I kind of probably underpriced it. Yeah. But this came out of the same box as the perpetual calendar and the tile key finder. These are Jean Marshall, vintage Jean Marshall doll throw pillows. And they sold for $24.99 plus shipping. And that is everything that's sold on eBay this week. And now we're going to go ahead and dive into another one of Ma Duke's China cabinets, and we'll be right back.
My favorite cabinet would be the toughest to let go. So I'll show you a few things. This is where the Flow Blue lives, most of it. Blue and white are my favorites. My English ironstone, I love that stuff. And here's some more Flow Blue. Then I went through my, Tracy, let me tell you. I used to collect Swarovski crystal. And this was the beginning of it. These pieces here. Those were my favorites. And I have a hard time letting those go. Then I have some more down here. Swarovski. And then when I had to get rid of my Wedgwood, I kept these 2 pieces. This one was a gift from my friend Rosemary, and this one has a long story behind it. I don't even want to go into it, but that's why I kept it, because it was the story is hilarious. Not hilarious, but anyway. And here's some more things I have.
That egg cup.
This is a great story. We were at a estate sale, and he missed this. I saw it. $4. $4. This thing is fabulous. It matches my favorite pattern of Flow Blue. This pattern and this pattern are my favorite Flow Blue patterns. The rest, most of these belong to my mom, and then a friend of mine gave me this set right here, the cup and the. Then I had my phase of, not only was I collecting Swarovski, I got pretty heavy into Waterford. So I saved some of it. I saved my candlesticks and a couple of other small pieces.
I love that.
Which one?
The opalescent blue piece.
Oh, right yeah, that's belonged to my mom. And as you can see, I...
Mother of pearl opera glasses.
When I downsized, I never had that much Limoges. So I try to either keep 1 to 3 pieces of whatever it was, and that's the Limoges that I kept.
All right, we are back from the China cabinet, and we are back at the table. And now we're going to go over 2 items that sold on Grailed this week. They were both big ticket clothing items, so super stoked to get these out the door. These were great finds that I had found at the thrift store. a couple bucks each. The first thing that is out the door is this vintage Winnie the Pooh Walt Disney hoodie made in the USA. Why is it so funny?
I don't know, Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh.
So that sold for $69, and that included shipping.
For a Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. $69 for this vintage Winnie the Pooh hoodie. And the next thing was the big cha-ching. This was a vintage dead stock Monte Carlo Resort and Casino sweatshirt.
And tell them where it went.
It still had the tags on it, and it sold, and it was going to New Zealand. So they are all in for $143 on that sweatshirt. It was a really dope sweatshirt. The funny thing is I was thinking about lowering the price on that sweatshirt the day that it sold. So I'm glad I didn't. And there was no comps on that sweatshirt. Like I literally was just like, this is.
Well, there were no comps on your Jean Doll pillows either.
Yeah. So I just went ahead and sold and put it up for a big number for $125, and then the rest was the shipping. So $143 out the door. Those are the two things that sold on Grailed this weekend. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into another china cabinet.
This was not from my Uncle Jim's store. This was a piece I got at a flea market, and I love my old lady brown furniture. So I have more Flow Blue in here. Some of my English ironstone, and what's left of my teacups. I got, offered up most of my teacups. These are the few that I kept that I really, really love. And I threw a little Swarovski in. This is probably my favorite Swarovski piece. This is the bird bath. And I got a couple of chocolate pots in there. And my favorite piece of railroad china, my Chessie the cat. And, but I did try to thin out the teacups.
That platter.
Oh, that platter's a doozy, isn't it? Thank you, Craig Priest. Yeah, this I got at that same estate sale where I found the egg cup. And I'm just sorry that there were two of them, and I wished I had bought both of them. They were fabulous. And my Delft Blue, I got rid of most of my Delft Blue, but I kept some of it. Kept a little bit of Delft. But yeah, that's about it.
All right. So the last platform that we made sales on this week is good old Etsy. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what sold this week, Monday through Friday on Etsy. The first thing was this antique cast iron claw foot.
Jesus.
I went to a pick at like a scrapyard, and I got a whole bunch of these cast iron feet. I've sold a set of 4 already.
Yeah.
The rest of them are all listed individually because they don't match. So this is out the door. The buyer is all in for $37.27.
I guess they would make nice door stops.
Yeah, I gave one to
to.
Josie's dad to use as a doorstop.
Yeah.
So I bought each one for $5, so nice little come up. And I've already made my money back on the first one that I sold because I sold the set of 4 for $100. The next thing that sold was this vintage Orphors.
Mm-hmm.
Sweden, 4-inch tall scalloped bowl, and it was actually really pretty.
It was. It was a wedding present that your dad and I got in like 1982.
Yeah. So that sold for, the buyer was all in for $65.67. So somebody else got a new wedding present.
Yeah. Great forward.
So the next thing that sold this week on Etsy was this vintage Balik Cleary pattern creamer. Based on the back stamp, I think it was made 46 to 55. I can't remember. But this has been up for forever.
Right. It's an oldie but good.
Balik pieces are really nice, and they do tend to sell, but sometimes it's like you
gotta wait it out.
Yeah, sometimes they sell really fast, sometimes they take a little while. But this one, the buyer is all in for $33.39. It's one of those small creamers. Yeah. The next thing that sold on eBay this week. Etsy. My bad. Is another teapot. Teapots have been going out every week. This was a really nice haul teapot. The name of the teapot was Boston. And the color was Dresden blue, and it had the gold filigree design on it. And the buyer was all in for that teapot for $56.33. That's a pretty one.
It was very pretty, yeah. I love Hall teapots.
Well, I mean, they're
my favorite.
Yeah, for sure. And then another multiple Pyrex order, which Ma Dukes is not looking forward to packing.
It's the hardest thing to pack.
So this was 2 pieces of Pyrex. One was a vintage Pyrex Verde oval divided disc with the lid. Then the second part was a vintage Pyrex Town and Country, the brown on white variation, and that was a Cinderella casserole dish 472, also with the lid. And the buyer's all in for those 2 pieces for $60.09. The next thing that sold on Etsy this week was this vintage red crackle glass tall pitcher. It's blown glass. It is gorgeous.
My least favorite color in the world is red, and I'm not a crackle glass fan, but this piece is gorgeous.
Yeah, and the person who got it paid up for shipping. They live all the way in Seattle, or no, San Marcos, California. And so they are all in for $63.25 on that pitcher. It was really nice.
Absolutely gorgeous.
The next thing that sold was this vintage Sun Tea beverage dispenser. It had like a red and yellow, dark orange, like kind of design going on.
Lord, we had a ton of those.
Yeah, and at one point, I think it's the last one. There might be one more. At one point, I sold a bunch of these like back to back to back, and so I was like always looking for them. And then they kind of cooled down, but this one sold, and it was actually in our clearance section. But the buyer is all in for $45.57. So it ended up being a nice sale even on clearance. Then I have this vintage Wedgwood blue Jasperware creamer. It's the like darker blue Jasperware, and it had some damage on it, but I got it for $2. I was super stoked. It's still a gorgeous piece. Will display really nice.
Yeah, nice showpiece.
And the buyer was all in on that for $29.38. The next thing that sold, this was a big ticket purchase. The buyer bought 3 pieces of absolutely stunning, gorgeous Vaseline glasses. Vaseline glass. The first one was this antique Northwood beaded panel. I mean, look at that. Gorgeous.
Even when the light's not on it, that is a stunning piece.
Yeah. Beaded panel opal open Vaseline glass compote. Then she got another one. This is an antique piece. This is Davidson glass. It's lemon pearline William and Mary Vaseline glass compote. I mean, look at that. Gorgeous.
She probably picked
3 really nice pieces.
Good taste.
The last one of the bunch was this antique Jefferson glass fluted bars and beads. It's Vaseline glass ruffled compote. What's really interesting about this one is you don't ever see it in the non-opalescent. Typically it's only an opalescent. It's gorgeous though. And so the buyer is all in for all 3 of those pieces for $260.49. So definitely a big ticket item. We had a few this week.
Yeah.
We did a really
clothing
clothing, those and the binoculars. It was
the binoculars.
Yeah. And the last thing that sold on Etsy this week was this vintage hand-painted Nippon vanity tray. I don't know, it was interesting. I got a lot of like people sending questions about this tray.
I remember the day we bought that. It was at a flea market. I mean, it was out in Aspen Hill, Maryland, near the Aspen Hill Pet Cemetery. If any of you, I know most of you guys aren't from this area, but they had a flea market on Aspen Hill Road, and it was chock full of stuff that day. It was a great flea market. And I don't know why I saw that and I thought, oh man, this is so pretty. And I used to have it on a picture stand standing up on the back of a small table, and the colors in it, and it's just so pretty. And it's just one of those things where, downsizing.
Yeah, so we had it for a while, but it's out the door now, and it's sold for $39.11. The buyer was all in for.
Well, I can tell you I did not pay that much when I got it.
So that's everything that sold on Etsy this week.
This cabinet is also one that I got for my uncle. And it's so funny because some lady ordered it. Then when it came to the store, one of these handles that's shaped like a key was a little bent. And she said, I don't want it. So my uncle gave it to me for practically cost. But I said, ooh, let's get a pair of pliers and a washcloth or a piece of cloth, and we put it on here, and we just kept bending it till it came right back into shape. I don't know. Anyway, people are funny. So here is a set that blue and white that my mom got. I remember the day this came to the house. My aunt called her from an antique store in Pennsylvania and said, oh God, Mary, this is gorgeous. You gotta get it, you gotta get it. So my mother bought the entire set. And more flow blue in the back. I think that was one of our plates that we sold, but it had a lot of crazing or a chip or something. I said, I don't care, I'll take it.
There's another flow blue right
Yeah, that's another one. It's got a boo-boo on it. And so a lot of what's in here, these two shelves are things that I want to keep. But I might let these guys go, and all that Waterford up there, I'd probably put that on the chopping block. And then I have my Maryland Delft Blue ginger jar,
And there's another
or tobacco jar, I think they call it. That's the polychrome up there.
Yeah, and then there's a nice Belique piece right
Oh
there.
yeah, I do have I got rid of all my Belique except for this one. This is sentimental. My neighbor gave me that as a gift, so I couldn't really.
Another gorgeous opalescent blue piece.
Yeah, I kept that one. And remember the old 1 and 3 rule. And this is just some random stuff that
I love this.
I know. Is that showing or oh, that right there? That's a beautiful glass. I love that glass. And then I have my Pilgrim cranberry glass. I love those. And I have 2 more pieces in the window. And this I love that Johnson Brothers set. I really love it. And those were my
Bunnykins in there.
Yeah, those were mine when I was a baby. Those 2.
And then the Swarovski.
Snowman, which I almost sold but decided to keep.
What's your favorite thing in this cabinet?
Oh, God. Ugh, probably the Johnson Brothers.
Yeah.
I think the Johnson. And the Flow Blue. I can't even, that doesn't go anywhere. But, yeah. So this is a cabinet that I also tried to sell on Craigslist. All I got were Fishers and, bogus offers.
Well, Mom?
Yeah.
My
yeah.
Dukes.
Oh, yeah. And that down below is just stuff. All my I got Longaberger pottery down here. We've got, what is it we have to,
That's a Royal Worcester, right?
Yeah, I have a bunch of Longaberger cups in the blue and the red that I want to sell, especially the blue. I think there's like 12 of them. So those are going to be coming up in the store, the Etsy store, and probably eBay. And the paperweights. Show Tracy the rest of my paperweights. I mean, this isn't the rest of them. This is probably an eighth of what I have. But I put all these out. I used to collect paperweights in the 80s.
Oh, look at that lamp.
Yeah, that's from my uncle's store. Yeah, so that's it.
This week. We hope you guys enjoyed hearing all of that and
The tour of the
the
cabinets.
tour of the China cabinets.
See what my Joneses are.
So we got some more stuff coming out for you guys shortly. Still working on getting that lost footage from me and Josie's antique road trip. And then don't forget to check us out live every Monday. I think this Monday we're gonna do Fenton.
You do Fenton?
I think we're gonna do Fenton.
Fenton Monday, huh?
Yeah. So thank you guys as always. We appreciate the love and support. Take care, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.